Fuller is a successful businesswoman. She was in her 50s when she rode her first motorcycle. The reason behind her midlife pavement pounding is as daring as her routine ride in the Alpine Hills.
And as the medication was starting to work, I thought, I got to fight this. So I'm going to do something that really scares the heck out of me. And the biggest thing I could come up with is learning to ride a motorcycle.
Her road therapy, along with medication and psychological support, helps Nancy live with major depression.
I didn't really get a diagnosis till I was in my 50s. Till one day, literally, I couldn't get out of bed and I couldn't stop crying. And my husband said, you need to get some help. And that's what I did.
Nancy's story of living with mental illness is part of a new San Diego-based art project called Chronicles of the Ordinary, or CODO.
CODO is a collection of photographs and stories of people that have mental illness.
The project is very personal for co-founders Wendy McNeil and photographer Victoria Madoff.
Yeah. Very charismatic. The CODO project came about when I had a close family member of mine had a mental health crisis, and I was trying to cope with the stress of it and wanting to control it and fix it, and photography is very meditative for me, and so I thought, I will look for other people with mental illness and photograph them.
I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 1990. So I was in the hospital for a manic episode probably once a year for about 10 years till I broke the cycle.
More than a decade later, medication, psychotherapy, a good job, and happy marriage makes Wendy a recovery role model.
And I really wanted to capture the voice of people that have mental illness.
Psycho man mind must be discouraged. Grab a new courage to blab the blurb of words heard by the cursive worsening person of the earth. Another thing certain, we're uncertain of our worth.
Voices like that of musician and rapper Eric Goldman.
Scooping up just spoonful of this covert dessert.
Goldman performs in a mellow trip hip-hop beat from his latest CD, Newfound Way.
This Newfound Way definitely does, and it talks about kind of making your way as someone with illness or madness. It's time to take a new pledge.
Raw lyrics reveal details of Eric's 15-year debilitating illness that includes depression, schizoaffective, and dissociative disorders.
Paranoia, delusional thinking that people are after you or watching you, and hearing voices. I did hear voices at one time. They've largely gone away.
Often replaced with his musical voice and now his story in the Chronicles of the Ordinary.
It's kind of an ironic title because it's really, the ordinary, but it's really of the extraordinary. They kind of focus on our extraordinary natures.
That's just one of the core messages of the CODO project, says Wendy McNeil.
Part of this is about empowering people that have mental illness to really have them recognize that their narratives are important and that their stories are powerful and that people can connect to them, whether they have a mental illness or not.
In other words,
I think this definitely is a stigma buster.
Stigma Nancy Fuller overcame not only for herself, but also for her 17-year-old son when he was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder.
At times he can see things that aren't there, hallucinations, delusions.
Regardless of the diagnosis, she recommends everyone learn how to ease the bumpy ride on the road of mental illness.
It could be somebody in our own family, a friend, and we need to know how to help somebody, how to be a friend, how to reach out to them, and to realize it's just like any other illness.